We have a real treat now, Michael J. Fox. He dropped out of high school, but is a self-proclaimed graduate of the School of Hard Knocks. He wants to share some of his life lessons with today's graduates. So he wrote them all down in a third book, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Future. One of those lessons came from his oldest son, Sam, who convinced Mike that he had to hit the books again. Your son, Sam, he actually pushed you to get your GED.
Yeah, when he was like 4 or 5. He got that I didn't finish school. I mean, he was about to start school and he was very excited about it. And I kind of somehow in the conversation told him that I never finished school. And he said, well,
what's up with that?
What's up with that? and he said, can you still finish it? And I said, well, at that time I was in my 30s. And I said, that doesn't really make sense. And he said, it doesn't make sense that you don't if you can. And
it's one of the things you write about, saying that wisdom comes from being old enough to know how much you can learn from your children.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've taken the speech with the highest degree of difficulty, a graduation speech, and basically turned it into a book. That's a high bar.
It was a nice idea. After the last book I did, my publishers suggested this notion of writing a book specifically for graduates. And again, I thought that the irony was rich.
From a high school dropout.
High school dropout. So advice to a high school graduate from a high school dropout. So, you know, when I've given commencement speeches in the past, I was open with what the hell are you thinking?
And I love the way you structure it, basically talking about how your life experience gave you the core curriculum
right.
from any university. Economics, Alex P. Keaton, Family Ties.
Jennifer, I've turned $500 into $10,000. I can't believe how hot I am.
Yeah, and also it was Alex P. Keaton combined with just the economics of being young and stupid and earning your first paycheck and not knowing what to do with it.
But you were working pretty steadily right from the start, yet were broke.
Yeah. When you're trying to pay everybody you need to pay and put together an apartment and eat regularly and have a good time and be stupid and be 19 and ridiculous. And so I did all the kind of smart things. I hung out with, I met some kids from UCLA and that were in fraternity, and so I got to go to their parties and drink their beer and date their girlfriends. And so I had it all figured out. It was tough times. I realized when it got down to brass tacks, I needed to kind of rededicate myself and really take it seriously and not expect it to just come easily, but know that I had to work for it. And out of that came the auditions for Family Ties, and I really applied myself to it and really pushed to get seen again. Because Gary Goldberg, the producer, saw me the first time and hated me. And didn't want to see me again.
He thought you were too much of a smart aleck, right?
Yeah, he thought I was too much of a smart ass, which given Alex Keaton, I mean, I was like, I'm reading this guy's smart ass. I don't know how you're reading him.
I don't go out with girls who have IQs lower than room temperature.
Yeah, and so then I went in again, and Gary changed his mind and became a real champion of mine.
Back to the Future, which taught you everything you need to know about physics.
Yeah, it was physics. Was what is more physics than time travel?
He's on a hoverboard!
More people ask me about the hoverboard, and Bob Zemeckis made this comment to the press that he said that there actually was a hoverboard, but parents groups had said it wasn't safe, and so they had petitioned for Mattel not to release it. So I had all these people telling me, where's the hoverboard? And I said, there is no hoverboard. I can tell you because I was stapled.
And they're the ones that went to college. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Politics, you skipped the coursework and went right to the practice. I think during the 2006 campaign, well, you decided to go out and campaign very hard for Senate candidates over this whole issue of whether there should be federal support for stem cell research.
Yeah, and it was federal support, and it was also short of federal support. It was like I just wanted less federal interference. Yeah, I just felt it was the right thing to do, and I didn't anticipate that Rush Limbaugh would turn it into WWF wrestling, and it would get all dramatic.
And after that election, of course, Barack Obama wins in 2008. And now looking back over those two elections, has there been the kind of progress you were hoping for?
Well, it certainly has in that Barack Obama made good on his campaign promise to lift the restrictions. People ask me about progress. I would say, well, we're making progress, but it's slow and steady, and it involves a lot of trial and error.
One of the most compelling stories you write about in here is about your visit to the Kingdom of Bhutan, where your own symptoms actually seem to recede.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was there for a short time, but about the second day, I woke up and was waiting for my symptoms to start so that I know to take my medication, and they just never showed up. It just went on day after day, where it just was really mild and really, it was the equivalent of maybe 8 years, 10 years ago. People ask me, does that mean you want to live in Bhutan? No, I like my life. I'll take my life here with the symptoms, but.
So you really do believe that as much as you've had to struggle with Parkinson's, that in some ways it was a gift?
Oh, absolutely. And the qualifier I always give is that it's the gift that keeps on taking. but absolutely. I mean, for me, I was on a path. It was a terrific path. I mean, I had a good career and I had a family, but I didn't really realize how precious that was. And to have this huge course change that at first glance was about a loss. As I really kind of learned to sit with it and look at it, the hole that was created started to fill in with all this amazing stuff. It's just been a tremendous journey that I wouldn't have embarked on otherwise.
So many lessons. The book is called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Future. Michael J. Fox, thanks very much. You can read more at our website, abcnews.com/books.